Hi, this is Hengist from House of Hengist Comics, and welcome back to our channel as we look at the Netherlands in 1940. Today we're really exploring some of the testers that we've been starting concerning our Lowland campaign, which is coming up. This we're going to entitle, I think, Holland in Flames, like what we did with Poland. So how do we go about it? Well, the first thing is actually we do a lot of research and effectively start looking at all the black and white photos and consult other people in the community and get their ideas on what we want to do and what they'd like to see. Just looking at some of the pictures today, and this is really an important campaign because it's the first airborne operation of World War II. So we're really focusing on the Fallschirmjäger and the Dutch forces supported by the French as well in this campaign, and we're going to be trying out a number of new rules and things like that as we go along. This is the canal. They've got to take both sides of the bridge. That's the Germans, and you can see using perspex we've made some sort of flooded areas. The gliders were to come in. They came up a bit short, which left the Fallschirmjäger a bit vulnerable under heavy machine gun fire. But as we look a little bit more, we've got factors that start to influence the game, like these containers falling into the water and having to be rescued. So we're using skill tests, and one particular, the 2IC of the Fallschirmjäger, did a lot this day. The artillery and mortars and things we've tended to put in coming in on the second wave, and as we go back to the actual battle itself, we can see there's a lot going on already at this stage in the game. We made a few mistakes. We didn't quite have all the correct lists and things like that, but we've worked it out, and that's what a lot of these testers are, trying out new things like the double concealed rule, or double trouble as we call it, where we're trying to sort of try and make it a little bit more historical. We've got infantry crawling as well, and we've got all sorts of other things going on, including we use a random deck, and here with the cavalry you'll see them appear on a deck card. These are taken on both sides, take one each turn, and a number of historical events turn up, which you don't know when they're going to occur, but it adds to a bit of spice in the game. As we come back to the windmill where the major action is over the bunker, the Germans have effectively overrun this. They took about 40% casualties on the two platoons assaulting, but that was to be expected, and they also attacked the bridge from both ends at once, which is, I understand, the textbook for taking a bridge. Deck cards were also bringing in the reserves like the aircraft and things like that, so we've had strafing runs. And as we return to the main area, we've used just tin foil basically painted to use as parachute canopies, although you can buy these, and these are on route to us. The cavalry action, which was a sudden card, was driven off by the second lieutenant, the lieutenant, who effectively had been involved in the action before, rescuing the container. He then led a bold attack through the flowers, assaulted the 531 Club, a notorious Dutch underground activity place, no doubt, as we go along in the campaign, and we'll also be doing other aspects of the campaign. We then had random cards for the ferry battle, which suddenly turned up, strafed an entire pioneer platoon and effectively wiped it out. However, the second lieutenant or lieutenant effectively carried on his charge out of the 531 Club and overrun the guns. And this was at a point when we started to see the Dutch come into play with their reserves. So far it was proving to be a really exciting game, not just the drop but all the chaos that followed and the randomness of cards that were generated. As we stopped at the end of this first phase, because the second phase will be the reinforcement, this is just as the Kruitschützen are arriving. And I put a little bit of video in to see a little bit more of the table so you can start looking at what we're trying to create. Very difficult with open tables. We want concealment and cover, we want variegation in the ground. The perspex was a bit of a new innovation. We thought we'd have a punt at that for flooded areas. Seems to have worked. Put in some restrictions to movement. Again, if you look around, you'll see we're using a lot of clump that hides a lot of conjoining of terrain. It's easy to basically collect at the end of a game and redeposit. There's another windmill over there, but you'll also notice that nothing is square. We don't have isolated square things, and this is because, having worked with reconnaissance images and things like that, you'll note that the ground is never full of squares, not unless you've got lots of football pitches or tennis courts. Yeah, we've really enjoyed this, and I hope you're going to enjoy it. And we'll as we go along in these testers and in the further campaigns, we'll try and explore some of the ideas that we've been working on. I really hope you enjoy it, and obviously the Dutch looking pretty pleased for themselves, although I think next week they could be in for a bit of trouble. We see here the Fallschirmjäger, and of course an optimistic photograph, one taken historically when they arrived in Amsterdam. If you're interested in our comics, in our work, you want to support us, follow us, please just get in touch with us. We'd love to hear from you. In the meantime, can I wish you a very good wargaming day if you're having one, or in the future, and look forward to hearing from you soon. So stay tuned. Bye.